Scorpio, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name is Carol, and this is going to be a general reading for you, and I trust that when it comes into your feed, it's meant for you, so there's no date on my reading. And in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot and the Radiant Rider-Waite deck to clarify. And before I begin, I'm going to, I don't know if I said we're doing the blind spot today. I might have forgot to say that, but it is a blind spot reading. So before I get to the tarot, I've selected a card for you before I came on. And from a oracle deck that I purchased probably when I first started reading tarot. And it was Teal Swan's The Blind Spot oracle cards. And her cards are quite interesting because she has these weird looking, they almost look like symbols, but they're not. So she really makes it clear that these aren't symbols. They're called sigils, actually. And she was given these during a download. And they have magical powers. So instead of having a subject or a theme about them, what they do is, the power it has is to help us bring awareness, to help me bring awareness to what your blind spot is, right? It's going to pull it out. And so let's take a look at what this is saying about the situation. I like how it has, I like looking at it and trying to figure out, what's the first thing I see in it? And I do see two hearts in there. So your goodness is what this is called, your goodness. If you have drawn this sigil in this situation, you and perhaps other people do not see your own goodness, your capability, or your excellence. Maybe you are not feeling good enough. If you've drawn this sigil, you need to admit to what it is. If you have drawn this sigil, you need to admit to what is good about you and capable about you and excellent about you, especially relative to the situation at hand. And the other people involved in the situation need to do this too. So in this situation, both you and those around you have a serious blind spot relative to that goodness. Instead, all you and potentially they see is badness and wrongness. Oof. This is a powerful one because, it's not only you feeling unworthy, but it's also people around you are seeing it. So let's see what the situation is. So in order to do that, I'm going to ask the tarot right now. And I'm going to look at what situation, issue, decision you're facing right now in relationship to not seeing your goodness and other people not seeing your goodness. What's coming up from your shadow that needs healing. So this is something when you were a young child, an adolescent, that something happened to you that is triggering this situation right now. Because when we're younger and things that happen to us that are painful, well, we put them away, we repress them, we shove them down, right? And then as we get older, we have these situations, these patterns that come up in our life. And they're there, almost like repeating what happened to you when you were younger, different situation, maybe different people. And it's wanting us to look at this and heal, right? And then I'm going to look at what guidance does the tarot have for you right now. A lot of times it'll be an emotion you got to look at. It'll be something where I can also help you by suggesting a video from Carol Cares, my other channel. So let's get started. I want one card for you, Scorpio, about the situation, issue, decision that you're facing right now. So one card, that one fell out, so you're with the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles for the situation you're in right now. What's coming up from your shadow that needs healing in regards to this? You have the Four of Wands in reverse. It was funny, I was thinking about that card yesterday. I don't know why. Something came up with that, and it was like, I haven't seen that card in a long time. What guidance does the tarot have for you? You have the Temperance card. Temperance card. All right, so let's ask for some clarifiers here. So can you tell me more about the Seven of Pentacles? Couple cards. you have the Page of Swords and the Three of Pentacles in reverse behind the Seven of Pentacles. Four of Wands, a couple cards for that. There we go. You have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Strength card. And that's in your shadow. Temperance, couple cards. Nine of Pentacles in reverse and the Queen of Wands behind the Temperance card. All right, so all about goodness, and you not seeing your own goodness, someone else not seeing it, what's going on? So let's pull out your blind spot that you're not aware of. Seven of Pentacles comes up here. This is an individual that's, you know, he looks like he's been doing some work, physical work here. This could be your situation. You're involved in some sort of physical work, but let's just say that there's something that you've committed yourself for a long time. It could be some sort of a relationship. It could have something to do with money. It could have something to do with work, where you've been in a situation where you've put a lot of your time into this, like a lot. And I think you, over the years, have asked yourself, is this really worth it? And I think you've got to a certain point where you're saying there going, there's got to be something else. I mean, I've put all this time into it, and I think you're feeling that people maybe aren't appreciating you. You're starting to recognize it, and it's like you're waking up to how, you know, you have been treated, or how you haven't been shown any appreciation for something. And so what is it? What sort of situation? It's a general reading. So what does this mean for you, where you're just kind of looking, and is there something else out there for me? There's got to be something else. Is this everything? Because you've put so much effort into it. And the Page of Swords comes out next. And the Page of Swords, the page in my deck, is first of all an inner child. And so, you know, there's 4 pages. So you can have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say we just have one. But I've been on my own healing journey for quite a while now, and intensively. And I know I have more than one inner child, because our inner children carry our big emotions. They carry our trauma. They carry our memories. And because this is coming up for you, there's an inner child here that's carrying a sword. It's in reverse, because I think there's a part, because I don't think you're hearing it, because our inner children are coming up, and they're coming up because they need healing. It's like they want to tell you something. It's like they have an emotion to share with you, some trauma to share with you. They want to communicate with you, and they want you to listen. They need to be heard. And whatever it is they tell us, and it's usually, you know, emotions that they're sharing with us, they want us to feel those emotions with us. And it has everything to do with this sword. A single sword is I call it the sword of authenticity. It's like who you really are. And they're wanting to tell you something. They're wanting to tell you something about who you really are, because I think you've lost yourself in this situation, whatever you're in, where you've put so much of you in it. We can get so busy and throw so much of our time and our energy into something or someone and completely lose ourselves. And so what is it about you? What part of you, what younger part of you lost their self? Right? Because it's now coming up to tell you, you're feeling it. You're feeling some of these emotions. Like, what part of me is wanting to talk to me right now? And then you have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And you know that this is something big for you, because it's really causing you a lot of emotions, and you're not quite sure what to do with this. And then the Three of Pentacles says, well, you know, maybe you're thinking of some sort of therapy, you know? And I mean, the Three of Pentacles talks about a co-creative card, working with someone. And it's in reverse here. And it's like, you're going, no, I'm done with therapy. I don't want to do this. You're not willing to get help for whatever situation you're in right now. There's just not a willingness on your part to get help over this. You know you need help. You know you need help with figuring out. I mean, when you're in a situation for so long and you've given so much of your energy to something, it's really difficult to get out of it sometimes on our own, depending on, you know, how intertwined and close we are with the situation. But it sounds like it's something big for you, where you're realizing that there's something not right about this situation that I'm in right now. There's got to be more, right? And so what's coming up from your shadow? So I imagine it's something that's related to, you know, what this inner child is trying to tell you right now. So you get the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands, because it's in the shadow, it normally talks about when it's not in the shadow in an upright position. And, you know, look at these individuals. It looks like they've won. It's like a congratulatory victory card. Sometimes I see it as a walking away, like from usually it's got this wall in the background. But when I see it in the shadow, it's like you, when you were younger, came from a very controlled environment, right? Where you weren't free to be you. And, you know, there's no surprise that you have that Page of Swords that's in reverse. And that's the page that knows who they were at 4, 5, 6 years old. It's like, I know who you were. And you did. When you were that young, you knew who you were. You knew why you came here. But you got lost. You got lost in whatever the situation you were in, where you gave so much of yourself, and you lose yourself. Well, you lost yourself when you were younger because you were controlled. When we come from a very controlling environment, well, we're controlled by people. So our whole existence gets caught up in these other people around us. And everything we do is in relation to, directed by, controlled by what these individuals want us to do and be. And so when we get older, we end up getting into these same types of relationships because they are what we are used to. And so this is what's going on. This is what's telling me that you came from a very controlling relationship where your emotions did not matter at all. Queen of Cups. Queen is our feminine side. She's has nothing to do with your gender, the Queen. It's just we all have a feminine and a masculine side. And because she's the Queen of Cups, she's this queen that has these emotions flowing at her feet. Look at the water flowing, right? Anything to do with water has to do with our emotions. She is so in touch with her emotions. She makes all of her decisions from her emotions. Well, you didn't have access to your emotions when you were younger. You weren't allowed. And in fact, they were controlled, right? You were told when you couldn't cry, or when you couldn't be angry, or when you were allowed to and when you weren't allowed to. So your emotions were very much controlled, and you didn't have access to them when you were younger. You were told to put those away. And so, you know, when this idea of maybe, you know, therapy comes up, it's like, no way. I was going to say no freaking way. It's like, no, because you learned when you were younger to put those away, and you're not allowed to take them out, right? And so you've got these emotions that are coming up around the situation that you're feeling kind of trapped in right now. Is this everything? But you've been told, no, keep those down. You can't feel. You're not allowed to, right? You're not allowed to admit that, you know, maybe you feel this. You're not allowed to admit that you feel like you're not being respected or noticed in this particular situation you're in, because you weren't allowed to admit that when you were younger. And then the other thing that that's come out in your shadow here, that because of your controlling environment, was this is a Strength card. And Strength card talks about, it doesn't talk about our physical strength here like it's shown here, but this talks about our inner strength. It's number 7. It's number 8, actually. I thought it was always number 7, but it's number 8 in the major arcana. And it, you know, it's got that infinity symbol on top of her head, like, and our physical strength is not what's going to get to our this whole essence of who we really are. It is our inner strength, our inner guidance when we go inwards and get in touch with our intuition and our gut feeling. So you didn't have access to, when you were younger, your intuition, your gut feeling, that ability to know that there's something wrong with this. Oh, this isn't right. Because if you've been controlled when you were younger, and you relied on someone else to tell you what was right and what was wrong, because that's the way you were wired when you were younger, right? And so right now you're just really, really confused. You have no idea which way to turn, but you know that there's something here that's just not right. And it's a difficult place to be, right? When you are so conditioned to not feel, to not trust your feelings, right? So you're probably spending a lot of time trying to push this down somehow, but you know there's something here that's saying, something's not right. And so what's the advice from the tarot here? Well, the first thing is that, this isn't a quick fix. I know we humans like to have quick fixes, and Temperance card says, this is all about emotions. You have some emotions here that definitely have to come out, but the fact is that you've repressed them all your life. And in particular, with the situation you're in right now, this is going to take time, right? And Temperance card tells me that oftentimes I see, this can be represented as like this angel in the Rider-Waite deck. And this takes a snapshot of the Rider-Waite, where it's talking about our emotions, of course. But that the angel has its toe that they're dipping into the water in the Rider-Waite deck. It's like, you don't have to feel this all at once. You don't have to learn how to feel this all at once. I know I was first told I had difficulties with my anger when I still do. It's the one that I have to really force myself to get to. I have a lot of ungrounded anger that I had to learn, how to ground it. But when it's emotion that we're not allowed to get to, or any of our emotions, I was always told, open up that Pandora's box or that faucet, like of water coming out, just a little bit. And when you feel that it's too much, close it up. And then next time, maybe you're going to do it just a little bit more, right? Because we can start to open up that Pandora's box and get really scared and go, I can't handle this anymore. I don't want to do this. I'm too scared. And maybe that's what's happened to you before. And so you've put it away. But it's time now you realize, you don't have to do this all at once. And the Nine of Pentacles comes in reverse, and because I think there's a real need for you to decide, what's important for you. What's important for you right now that's going to bring you, this card's often about abundance, but where can you start to go towards? What do you want to do? What's the next step? What's the goal for you right now? Think about that. Like, what do you want for yourself? What's important to you? And the last one is the Queen of Wands, and here's the feminine part again. And this one, because it's the wand, it's the feminine part of us that's talks about our creativity. But creativity can mean something as putting yourself first. That's very creative, especially if you haven't done that ever, right? And so I think it's time now where you get to focus on you. And that's the main goal here, is that I think it's time to put yourself first. And that's what the universe says. You know what? Yeah. This is what you're going to do for yourself. This is your next step. It wants you to put yourself first. And so how are you going to do that? Well, I think there's some emotions that need to come out. You have to figure out, okay, how am I going to start to feel these emotions? And I know it's not as easy as it sounds. But the Temperance card is here to say, you know what? You're going to do this a little bit at a time. And so I'm going to leave you with... you have an inner child here. So I'm going to leave you with a video playlist on how to journal. How to journal to your inner child and find out, what does my inner child want to tell me? Because there's a lot of emotions you have here. And I journal from my emotions all the time. That's how I start to feel them, right? So I'm going to leave you with that. And I want you to have compassion for yourself, Scorpio, for what you're working through. This is For sure, the most difficult journey of your life, your healing journey, but it's the most important one. So stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.